Hello. Wait, is that Kamek like? I looked at the camera even though I'm not using the camera today. Hi. Um. Oh, by the way, you don't have to be in the thing anymore. Sorry, I forgot. Call, call me. Okay, comic. Okay, yes. No, here it is. Um. I started working on it yesterday. As you can see, I did the thumbnail at like 2 a.m. the other night when I couldn't sleep. Yesterday, I did the frames and most of the character lines, because I wanted to make sure that I could get it done today because, I like to have it posted publicly on the last day of the month, which is tomorrow. So if I didn't have it finished today, I would be in a little bit of trouble, maybe, kind of. You know what? We could do something special here. Hopefully this won't break everything. Oh, that's always a good way to start. Let's see here. I'm gonna need some of this because I gotta do the faces. I'm gonna need some of this because I didn't do the thick outlines on any of the characters. I need to do the faces, the thick outlines, the backgrounds, which there's only really a couple of vague ones. Um, yeah, no, that honestly, same thing. It's apparently it is like a somewhat of an autism trait to just be like not like face blind, but like to not care about people's faces. Which is interesting because I've also heard that like part of why you know the default idea is that people are really like face centric is because faces are well a like um they are very dense with information in terms of like emotional state and focus and like you can get a lot of information about somebody from their face, but also it's very like dense and very contrasty. It's got lots of light and dark and details and things like that, and there's this idea that our like human attention is drawn to areas of high contrast, maybe because like I don't know, you're looking for a snake in a pile of leaves, and faces are kind of like that. Faces are kind of like snakes in piles of leaves. What? Um, but yeah, there's. But I guess the idea is like faces are information dense, and sometimes faces are snakes. I like that. Um, because they're always jumping out at you. Uh, and they have tongues. That's accurate. They both have tongues. Faces and snakes both have tongues. I do not know what I'm going on about today. Uh, had to permit the term bite me. Good, love it. Let's see if I do street. I have not used this program since September, but if I start it now, then it'll go, right? It'll go. It might go. It's loading. Okay. If I say connect, does it just automatically work? Oh God, I haven't used this in a while. Oh, I gotta reauthorize. Yeah. Here. You remember because Stream had that, or Twitch had that whole thing that happened. Um, can I do just that, or is it really gonna want? It really wants the other one too. Okay. Yeah, go for it. Now I can hit the button. Yeah. Archival ink. No, I don't. Or do I? I have these, which I think are like a kind of like archival quality ink. Um, but I don't actually use these that often. Also, hey, now avatars exist again, so you can use the box below the page to customize. Yeah, these are German. Um, for a while, the thing was finding an ink that would write well on CD labels without eating through and actually damaging the CD. That was a thing for a while. No, I just use what is it? This is the Pilot Razor. Oh, I cannot see that at all. Pilot Razor Point, and this is the Papermate Flare. I get all of my art supplies at Staples, basically. I have a couple of Prismacolor markers that I use. I have more than this. These are just so these three I basically found. They're like were passed down. These were not ones that I set out to buy. Um, the gray ones, I bought this one somewhere. This one I actually bought because like gray ink is the only one that I really have trouble like finding. I'm not good with like cross hatching or stippling or anything like that. So that's it. But otherwise, I just use like pens that feel good. I got Sharpies for big areas. I got I do care about pens. I care a lot about the way that pens feel. This is a pen that I really like. Um, Rolling Ball Pilot Precise V5. I really like these. I bought a box of these. These mechanical pencils, I just picked these up at the dollar store, so that's fun. I care a lot about pens, but I'm not like the things that I care about are mainly about like feel. Like I like very specific weights in my pens. Um, oh no, this happened, huh? I was worried that this would happen, and it done happened. All right, let's. Ooh, ooh, wait, no, everything. Yes, everything broke again. Okay. Ugh. Okay, that's better. Now, if I do that. Okay, still interesting problems with my USB, but not the same problems as before. So, all right, cool. Hey, interesting new problems are interesting at least. Um yeah. What was I saying? I got the avatars going. Oh, we need music. Okay. I'm going to try something new today. Do I have desktop audio going? No. Let me add desktop audio go. Whoa, that's wrong. Okay, not that. Don't show that. I mean, except do show that. I want. Yeah, fine. You can show that, but we are absolutely going to crop this. I want to throw it over this window and maximize it. And then I am going to bring this down here. And I don't quite like it like that. There's not quite room for it, but I'll yeah, I'll leave it like that for now. I don't want it to block the things. I want it to just. All right. Well. Oh, also, if I'm doing that, then we need to hear this. So I'll throw that, and then I actually need to hit play. Okay? How does that do? Yeah. Chill hop. Wait, you don't hear that. You still don't hear that? Hang on. Now you hear that. Let me bring it down here. Now we got some. Now we got a multimedia experience going. Okay, what am I doing with these? All right, so if it comes up on the mic or on the camera, I did put like speech bubble lines in here, but I do those digitally. So those are more for just helping with my composition and layout. So I'm just gonna try and quick fill in some of these. Or do I do the faces first? Between the background lines and the faces, this is the only one that really needs a background, because this is the one where like the background and the way that they are inhabiting the space that they're in is actually super important. I actually feel like I have drawn this background wrong, but I also don't feel like throwing it out and redoing it. So I'm just going to do it as is. Yeah, word, chill out. This is what we're here for. Okay, I'm going to do faces. Give me a pencil so that I can sketch out. Oh, but yeah, going back to the other thing, like I have a lot of trouble with faces because like I do have that thing. I don't necessarily look at faces in real life. Not like I don't think I have the thing where like eye contact threatens me, but like that already feels weird. Oh, hey, and it pops up there. "60-page one-shot. That's so many pages. Oh, right. If it's going to throw the track name in the chat, I don't even need to really show it on screen. I'll save that for another day. Oh, yeah, and it's going to show it in there. That's cool. That works. I mean, like, in school, I did the thing where, you know, it's like, oh, I'm learning to draw. Here's 100 anime eyes in a school notebook, you know? It's like, yeah, I did that too, but like... And I am pretty interested in ideas of like, you know, different characters have different eyes. Like, even between these two. So, like, he's got the big, you know, he's got the big friendly eye, which those already look wrong. Oh my god. It's gonna be one of these days. This is the thing I love. This is a mechanical eraser. I love these. I love these so much. So let's just start this face over a little bit. But like, yeah, like that. Faces are also easier when working digital because you can just, you know, flipping the entire canvas to draw the other side, so that way it's like the same hand movements makes them feel so much more consistent. Because he's looking, because his face is turned this way, so the eyes need to sort of point back this way to be looking like dead ahead at the reader. There we go, that looks good. The reader who are currently in the perspective of Amy getting these introductions. And it's funny because for the most part, I'm adhering to the like line of action. She's on the right, and they're mostly on the left. Like they're still kind of on the left here because they're the same in relation to each other. This one, I don't show it, like, don't show the motion of it, but in this panel, they are like over here. So it's like between here and here, or like kind of in here. They are passing them and leaving out the door, and that's when we leave with them this way, which we kind of get that because now with these two on the left is the same way they are over here. There's a thing that makes sense. But yeah, like eye shape. So like he's got the big friendly eyes, but he's got a more like what I tend to call like the Space Marine eyes. So it's a bit more square, it's a bit more flat at the top than like round, but they're not like angry. They're like angular but not angry. And also he's got some pretty thick eyebrows. Eyebrows? Not quite like that. No, he's got like the... I don't remember what his eyebrows are like. I need to look at my own past comics to... at least get him to match what I've done before. I forgot to give him eyebrows in the last panel, but he was also small there. Oh, he's got like that. Okay. Yeah, that works. See here, he's doing the cool guy, like, don't even sweat it. Eyes closed, waving it off. But yeah, I do usually end up doing like real simple faces, just because I don't know, my brain doesn't like complex ones. I can't handle that. And anytime I try to do like super like detailed anime eyes, I tend to like overwork it, and it also looks weird. I'll do kind of a lot in coloring, but I can't really do a lot in like the line art of it. I need to keep my line art simple. Like ideally, I would love to have line art like do like a Calvin and Hobbes. Like go really like that simplistic and you know, few lines, but like anytime I try, it's always just like, no, I done overworked it. So many eyes on this page. They really do like the skill. Like I'm convinced that it's like a perception thing. Just the idea of being like, what is like the piece of this form, the thing, like the iconic line shape in this thing that I'm trying to draw, and the way to like how can I express something with a certain level of efficiency. And it's just like it is a skill, and I don't necessarily have it. It doesn't look right either. Why doesn't any of this look right? Because I didn't put the eyes when I was drawing, and now it's I mean, it also gets weird when I think about like I've given thought to like some of the ethnicities of these characters. Not like a lot, but enough where I'm just like, oh, I should give this character this kind of eye shape. But then I'm worried like, or if I lean too much into that, am I just like gonna accidentally work my way into a stereotype, which is not what I mean to do. It's like, it's one of those like ethnicities is probably something that like helps, because then when you need to like answer questions about like a character's, you know, backstory or personality or like cultural history, then you have something to pull from to answer that. But it's not something that you need to like, when you go out of your way to make facts like that like clear and obvious to the audience, then it feels like, okay, well now is there a reason that we're doing that, you know, or is it just like Shoot, how have I done the eyes in the past? Normally I just leave them blank. Oh, okay, so I shouldn't have done that. It's also just weird to be like, you know, when you develop a style for comics separate from the style that you use for like illustration or like pinups and stuff. And I've been doing a bunch of like more pinup style drawings lately. Even then, like the sort of like relaxed pinup style. I won't say low effort, but the like sort of more relaxed, sort of more casual than like the full effort ones. So it's just like, hate to be a single person with way too many types of my own styles, and it's just like, okay, how do I do this? Oh, right. Black hair, so these fill in. I think all of my characters are kind of mutts, though. Just in terms of, like, I don't know. Isn't that the dream of the American melting pot? It's just like, actually, you can be a bunch of things, and that's what makes you cool. Yeah, I'm going to do the simple eyes here. Because the point is, there is like it's not super awkward, but it is like a quiet beat in this moment of like, it's like nobody's quite sure what the next step here is. They're left alone, and they weren't necessarily expecting to be left alone that quickly, if at all. I mean, if you were here for my last comic stream, I went into the whole thing about like what like the nature of their relationship, and like, yes, they are sort of like love interests, but I'm trying to give them like an interesting personality mesh. Like, they aren't necessarily like physically attracted to each other, at least not instantly. Because, you know, you see that all the time, and I'm just like, well, I'm like, hey, where's my ace representation at? It can't just be MD Geist. Do I even need a background in there? I feel like I kind of need one up here because there is going to be a lot of space, and it's kind of the establishing shot for this page. Here and here are looking the same way. Here and here are kind of looking the same way. This one, kind of undefined. I'm probably expecting to use the word bubbles to block most of the background anyway. Same with here is the thing. Like, this corner is the only thing where like I'm really going to need the background lines. And then this one, and then this one is the most background, like I was saying. This one is super weird anyway. All I have left is these eyes and these eyes. Face. Hey, you got them face eyes? Gonna take his face. Eyes? No. God, a 60-page one-shot. I think I did a one-shot that was like 12 pages. Even that was too much. I think I did that as a school project. Came out well. I don't know if I've ever posted that anywhere. I just felt really proud because apparently the professor held on to it and used it as her example for later classes for some amount of time. I think I had a dream about that last night too, about like being in a like a high school art class. I don't know if it had that element of work so good it got used as an example later, but actually I think it was the other way. It was like one of my classmates, their project ended up on a billboard. Granted, my classmate in this dream was nerdcore Mega Man rapper Mega Ran, so that's cool. I don't know. I've been having a lot of dreams about being back in school. It's been most of my dreams during the pandemic. Which is weird. I think because it has a feeling of just like, okay, waiting for the next step of life, waiting for this period to end so we can, get on with the next thing. So it makes sense that I'm sort of feeling in that position again. But it's also sad because now even in the dreams, it's just like, yeah, no, we're getting used to this. I'm in school. I'm the older one. It's weird, but nobody cares. All right, what are we doing in class today? Ah, shit, there's another test. All right, fine. Infinite snow day. Here's the thing, like when the pandemic first started, I worked from home for like a month before my job decided to fire like more than half the staff. Don't worry about that part. But I actually was really into like remoting in and working from home. You know what's not that bad? Working an office job. You want to know what's great? Working that office job from home, where you don't have to. Anytime you don't have to put on slacks, I think a job is pretty good. Slacks are the devil's garment. The uniform of a wage slave. I don't know. God. I have a pair of khakis that are actually really comfortable, and I kind of hate it. I kind of hate how like not nonplussed, so I guess plussed. I'm upset by how plussed I am by that particular pair of khakis. Yeah, hey, hi. I'm glad to see you're here. Listen, anybody just wants to lurk and just listen to me ramble, more than happy to accommodate. Treat others how you'd want to be treated, you know? Say hi, be kind, then don't say much at all, and that's fine. Okay, yeah, that's no problem. Okay. Say hello to all the face. Ooh, burpee. I got my... Actually really cool. I rearranged my, the shelves above my desk last night. So I got to move around a bunch of my little like minifig collection. So now I can grab dudes like this much easier. I really need to play a tabletop tactics game. I really need to. I have so many figures and they're just begging to have stats. Here's Mr. Chef with his snooper. His pooper snooper. Oh, he's dusty. He's dusty. Ugh, toys are meant to be played with. But also I made it so a bunch of my art tools are easier to get to. Oh, yeah, that's the other thing is like, since I did, honestly, like the initial sketch, I think is the hardest part, or maybe it's the hardest part because it's the most anxious about, because like going from nothing to something is hard. Iterating from something to something better is easier, which is kind of what inking process is. So like, yeah, no, at this point, it's like I finished the inking, which is kind of just following the instructions I left for myself, and then do all the digital stuff, and that goes fast. A bunch of word bubbles this week. Yeah, that's why. Okay, tell me about this music thing. Can we... If I hit that... What if we did this? What about this? It's giving me options that I'm not totally sure what they all are. You see, even that, this feels like it should be more like this, probably. So I'll have to redo this sync placement. But I want to leave enough of the sketch to remind me that that's the sync that I'm placing there. Right, and then this panel is hitting the edge of the page. What is that called? It's an extension panel, it's a bleed panel, it's I don't know what you want to call it. Let's do some thick outlines. Just go over everything really quickly. Well, not that quickly, but it just really helps silhouettes pop from backgrounds. The problem that I'm having today is that I really just feel like disappearing into a game or something. Just like turn off my own brain. Let's go to I don't know. What's the place in Skyrim? Skyrim is named after the place that it is. Right, okay. I mean, technically Halo's the same. You're on the Halo. I don't think there's a name for it other than the Halo. The Sacred Ring. I feel like if I was talking about the Sacred Ring on like a not safe for work account, it would mean something very different, but this is a Christian stream right now. Did need to draw those in. All right, and I did. Good, done. No, fuck you. It's my stream. I'll cry if I want to. Sure. What do you want to know? All right. At what point do I really sort of go down a rabbit hole and like play that like AI interpreter powered text adventure, but I play it through like text to speech and vice versa, so I'm just talking to the computer and it's talking back to me, and we're having an adventure. I can't tell, would that be fun or sad? Just give myself a virtual co-host. PC Knight Rider. Yeah, no, that's... There's an interesting thought. I mean, I'm really close to... Listen, do you know what the difference between Space Ghost, Coast to Coast, and VTubing is? Because I think the answer is not much. So let me tell you about how I could go full Jeff Dunham and just have multiple VTubers up, and I can just hot swap which one is listening to the mic and just ventriloquize myself all over the place. You know, that verb that's actually a real verb? I looked at the camera. The camera's not on. Help me. No Bracken VTubing yet. I mean, I follow Andy Merrill on Twitter. I also follow Evan Dorkin on Twitter. I was gonna say I'm surprised that like Adult Swim hasn't gone that way yet, but the truth is they did, because you remember when they didn't do it with like Space Ghost properties though. They did it with Carl from Aqua Teen when they had him hosting like a football like post game chat show or something, and they did it live with like a full body tracking setup. And they did kind of do it. They did kind of do the VTubing thing long ago. They just did it with Carl from Aqua Teen, so I didn't care. Actually, the thing that I love is that if you were an Insomniac baby like me, you might remember the Moxie Pirate Radio show cartoon on Cartoon Network. You know, voiced by Bobcat Goldthwait and Chris Rock, but then later Penn Jillette as the voice of his sidekick, the Flea. Sorry, Flea, that's just his name. And it turns out that was also a weird, like, full body motion tracking live puppetry form of animation, even though it was a pre-recorded show that they aired. And that's super cool to me. Like, they were coming up with like new animation technology to make this stupid show that wasn't even a full show. It was basically like host segments for existing cartoons. And can I tell you, there's something about, I want to say there's something about that era of like the expansion of cable television that led to like a boom of host segment style like shows. Because you think about, like, especially on Cartoon Network, because all they did was they bought, you know, the broadcast rights to a bunch of old cartoons, you know, Hanna-Barbera and Snorks and Looney Tunes stuff, and they were just like, yeah, no, we're going to be able to show this, but instead of showing it directly, what we'll do is we will make new bits as sort of like framing devices, and we'll have our own characters and things like that, and maybe try to put narratives in it, but like, it didn't take up the whole slot. It just took up the space in between the cartoons. That was the main product. It was just a new way to sell old cartoons. But I feel like this idea sort of like, it became a like, it became like an ongoing structure. Because I mean, you look at something like MST, because MST was, they had the riffing directly over the movie and the sort of like humorizing via commentary track, but they did the same thing. It's like they had their little skits and host segments in between what was really just like a repackaged movie that it was cheap to show, you know. A lot of times I sort of think about Beavis and Butthead, and when they did the like music video segments, that I don't necessarily think that the cartoon was an excuse to show repackaged music videos, but like they definitely repackaged music videos to add content to the show. But like a lot of stuff on Cartoon Network was that way, because you had Moxie, you had Cartoon Planet was like that. I mean, even just think about like the regular commercials that they made for Cartoon Network, where like, you know, like Johnny Bravo and whoever in the parking lot, or like in the laundromat, and Fred Flintstone and the Jetsons fighting over a parking space. Like, they were doing these weird things to add like new narratives to repackaged programs in, you know, 30-second bursts. I just had another good example, and it has left my mind. Oh, Toonami. Toonami went like really far with it, because like Toonami went as far as, not only did they create, you know, like Tom and Sarah and the characters for that, for those, you know, bumper segments, but they did the like the like ARG interactive game contest giveaway storylines, where like a week long there would be like a new piece of the story arc every day, plus a new game would unlock online, and then as people were playing the game, if like the community reached certain milestones, then they were able to affect how the show proceeded. And like that was a wild thing that they did. Like, in retrospect, like at the time I was just like, yo, this is a cool thing, but like in retrospect, like for the time and for what people did with TV, it was just kind of wild. Like, I guess this was also at the time where like, you know, online flash games were like kind of established, but people weren't doing too much super interesting with them yet. They weren't using them in this like live interaction way. They were something you played in the computer lab at school, you know? Do I have to a point to this conversation? Let's see. No, not really. Other than, I don't know, there's definitely a part of me that's like, if I were to do, like, not necessarily like VTubing, because I'm not comfortable inhabiting a character. Let me put it that way. I gotta be me, otherwise I get filled with anxiety. But that being said, I feel like there is some overlap between like the host segment style of like content structure that could be adopted for like the VTuber era. Like, yeah, I'm just going to sit here and play this game, or, you know, we're going to watch this other thing or something. But like this weird thing of like, okay, maybe games are, like if games are the repackaged movies, but then we're doing bits over them and introducing our new characters, like that's already kind of what's going on, right? Who play themselves. Yeah, I get that, and those are the ones that I can kind of just sort of like emotionally deal with and process the easiest. Not that there's anything wrong with the other ones. It's a me problem, just how I relate to people. You know, like you were saying, NPC syndrome. It's like, it doesn't fit into how I deal with people. Help! I'm drowning in personalities. But like, even when you get into the idea of just like, well, I'm being myself, but I'm being like a fictionalized version of myself that's maybe like, you know, a little louder, a little more expressive than I am in my normal life. Like, to me, there's that is a dangerous line to tread, because then you are like, to your audience, you're sort of making it blurry between like, well, am I like this, or is this the character of me? But yeah, so it's something about like, I mean that's exactly what I've done right here, right? Like, I'm not on camera today, not for any particular reason other than I upgraded the tech behind my little bobbing head over here, and I want to use it and show it off. But like, yeah, no, this is just me. This is one of the ways I like am comfortable presenting myself, and that's all it is. But that's the thing, like, I don't feel like I'm playing a character who is myself. I am just being myself, but representing myself with something other than, you know, a photo of my face, right? And I feel like that is like, there's a weird distinction of just like this is a representation of me versus this is a character that is based on me. This is a characterized version of myself. I don't know. To me, there's like, to my mind, there's a distinct difference between those, but I have trouble like articulating what that difference is. I'm sure most other people don't care enough to make the distinction, but listen, I got like a page full of notes about why I care so much about distinctions, but I feel like I can't put it into any form that doesn't make me sound like my 10-minute explainer video about why I'm not a jerk is answering a lot of the questions being brought up by my 10-minute explainer video. You know, that's kind of, I feel like I'm on the edge of that, and I don't know how to feel about that. That's been my day so far. I gotta draw some backgrounds now. Okay, so this is the kitchen. Here's what I can do. I'm going to redraw some of this. I'm going to sort of ballpark. If I extend that line and I extend this line, and these lines I feel pretty good about, then we find a vanishing point. Now using this vanishing point, we can redraw some of the other lines of the room. To create a more like realistic, more solid feeling space. The thing you can't see because I'm not on camera today is that I'm sticking my tongue all the way out while figuring out these angles. Just like a cat going straight blep. Sega Saturnilla. Is this anything? See, okay, but the bigger problem I'm going to have is that whatever I draw here, I need to figure out how to represent over here. So this is sort of over his head, like there. It's going to go kind of in. No, it's not going to go in on these sides. This is a fridge over here. So it's actually going to sort of. How much does that come down? That comes down to about his chin level in the background, so it's going to be a bit less. It is going to be about over here though, and so it's going to come down here, go like that. These are going to sort of all stick in a little bit, right? Because in the sink, this is sort of at waist height, so it's actually going to be only going to see like the background of it over here. That's fine. Ends over here. This is a fridge. The fridge is probably taller than him, so this goes up off top. We'll put this here. There's probably a little bit up there. This will stick out a little bit, so we have to draw it like out from the wall a tiny bit, and then it goes down. We'll see the bottom of these, and it follows. Stick out over here, and then it's going to be a wall. Sort of the doorway is going to be a little bit over here. I think I put that. There's a towel hook right here. And I guess the light switch is going to be on this side for the kitchen. And that would mean that the towel hook is right here again. Details, you know? Oh, this really feels like too much work. I just want to go to bed. I want to go to bed and play video games in my dreams. That's how tired I am. I don't even want to stay awake to play the video games. Oh. Oh. Hey, did y'all see that Rosa that I drew the other day? Y'all see the part where I put on a t-shirt? Tell your friends. I want people to buy that shirt. I want like one of those shirts to be bought and that's what lets people know that that's what sort of awakens it to the lawyers to say, actually, you can't. Somebody bought one of the garnet shirts before that design was taken down for like copyright, whatever. Yeah, all right. Good luck sleeping. I don't think that's the thing that needs to be said, but yeah, go have a good rest. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll be here. I've got comic to finish. Draw. I gotta draw. Ugh. I actually want this to be about the same as that, so it'll go over here. Yeah, that's... I'm so glad Mythbusters did that episode about, like, sleeping on like, fishing boats, where they were just like, yeah, no, it turns out that, like, even if you just sort of, like, you don't sleep, but you do lay dormant for, like, a couple of hours at a time, it does do your brain good. That still counts as, like, a rest, even if it isn't a perfect sleep. Because that makes me always feel so much better to follow the other advice, which is just like, if you've been in bed for like more than half an hour and you still don't feel like you're ready to fall asleep, just get up for like half an hour to an hour. Just, read a book. I write notes in the middle of the night. Just like probably don't go to your computer, but just like get up for a little bit and then give it another shot in like 20 minutes. Second attempts, So cabinets, I like the minimalist cabinets. I'm drawing a comic page here, but I'm also like designing a kitchen at the same time, and the question really is, how come am I not just playing The Sims right now? This is what I always come back to. Yeah, all right, good luck, rest well, even if it's not on the first attempt, I guess. Oh, I know that feeling all too well. Oh, what would he have on his fridge? You know what he would have on his fridge? Weird hard drive magnets as your magnets. But then also it would have the like Wi-Fi password. We heard this song already. Okay, what if we... I thought there was a thing that said something like... No. Oh, yeah. Okay. Let's try this. Something went wrong. Okay. I'm just gonna... Do I want to? Yes, I want to. I'll use my ruler to get some straight lines that'll help me just sort of feel a little more confident to go quickly in everything. At some point, confidence and quickness go hand in hand to making you not worry about quality beyond what will actually be noticed, you know? When you're working this close, you notice all of the imperfections, but the people who aren't working this close won't. So there's no reason to kill yourself over what won't be noticed. That doesn't feel right. I feel like I goofed something up here already, but you know what? Trying not to worry about it. You know what? That's fine. That's fine. That right there, that's fine. It's because if I'm lining the ruler up to the edge of the page, that's like all the confidence I need to be like, that is straight enough. That is straight passing. Yeah, when I talk about being a straight passing white boy, this is what I'm talking about? No, it's not.
Don't cry.
Listen, lady. Every day is me trying.
Talk to me.
I would like to think that even if today is being kind of rough on me, I'm handling it with a good nature, you know? That reminds me of a tweet that I need to send. Don't worry about it. Alright, tweeted that. We'll see if I regret it. Probably. Oh, alright, back to... Oh, yes, the comic. I was looking for the right window to return to, and ooh, boy. What if I did play this in for a stream, you know? Some days you just gotta, like, go full high school girl, you know? Sometimes I feel I've got to honk honk run away. So back of this feels like it would be about here. So let's go ahead and do that. Then, yeah, the fridge would be a little wetter than the frame, so I'll just run it all. I'll just run out the clock on that one, thank you. Ah, shit. Well, the sink would be here under the cutout. Which means there would also probably be some kind of light here. Normally you have like a window here, but this is an interior wall. The light is actually on the complete other side, so we would need some kind of light here. So I'll just sort of sketch in one of these. That's a light. Don't worry about it. It's a light. The sink's going to be here underneath it, but I think the microwave would be over here. Which means I should probably actually sort of do this. This sort of goes over there. Tiles and panels? Oh, you mean like tiles and panels like on the page? Like, no, this scene takes place in a kitchen. Yeah. So here's the thing. I've like had a rough to very like decided concept of Elcom's apartment since almost as long as I've been drawing. I built very early versions of it in UT 2K4 level editor. I've done probably the most modern take on it in Sims. But yeah, it's like here, let me All right, we're taking a side trip here so I can talk about this. Give me something that's easy to see. So, first of all, it is in a skyscraper. It's up. It's probably somewhere in like the 50 to 70 floors up range. It's high. It gets a good view of the city. There's a reason for that. He likes to look out. He likes to be in a position to observe everything, and that's in a small way, but it also is in that way. Like it's not like a functional observation at that height, but it is, that's sort of where it comes from. Oh, hey, it broke. Again. But the thing to know is that there's like along the middle of the floor is basically like a main hallway, and I want to say like sort of in the middle, this is your elevator bank, okay? His apartment, you go into it over here. And what we have over here is this is the kitchen. But here's your like sinks, your fridge. There's a table over here. This is a big outside wall next to the kitchen table. All right, so that's basically the kitchen. this is like a double wide doorway that leads into what is basically the living room. So this and this are also glass panels looking out onto the skyline. And the way that this works is you go straight in, and he has a computer desk here. So like kitchen behind him, this is where he goes to work. Next to that is there's a couch sort of in the middle, TV over here. So this is like the entertainment zone. So this is where you play. This is where you play games. Let's see here. How did I have this worked out? Right here ish. So this is actually the bathroom. This is the bathroom because this way, the bathroom and the kitchen can actually share a wet wall. So all of your water lines can actually be pretty centralized right there for the floor. You don't need to run it to other places really. And then over here, this is his bedroom. The thing about the bedroom, though, is that it's... So the gag is his bedroom is basically like a black hole. So like there's a concept of like, oh yes, no, that is the bedroom, but we don't go in there. Things that go in there get lost. It's like you go into the bedroom and it's basically like hacking your way through a rat's nest of cables and dirty laundry and all of these things. So it is just like a mystery black hole. Further consideration is this is actually where he has some of his like mainframe servers set up. So so the idea is like, oh, okay, so he has his computers in there and he sleeps in there because together that means this has to be the coldest room. So it's best for sleeping and for running mainframes. The mainframes is also why there is a rat's nest of cables and everything. Is because this is basically where like the trunk line terminates of all his tech stuff, right? Let's see here. Where's the way that this goes? There's like a bookshelf over there because you need those. Then we come over here, and this is a... See, this is where I start to lose it because this thing right here, these are like the main areas that you ever really saw. And like, I feel like you could get away with just having that. But the thing that I liked over here was this idea of having a, there's like a workroom over here. God, how exactly did that work? It's been a while since I really did this. Oh wait, I think that's right. I think that's not the workroom. I think this... This might be right. So like I said, this is a little fuzzy. This is where it's still flexible because like I haven't had to show it into the comics, so I haven't had to like really lay it down. But the thing about this area over here is that in some layout, like there's like a mahjong table or like poker table or like business meeting room kind of thing over here. So like this is like you're a casual, we're gonna watch a movie and play games. This is almost your like, here's our board game table, here's where our discussions are gonna take place. And then over here is basically a workshop. So, you know, you have like tool benches, you have things, you have a sort of like centered, like, I don't know if it would be a concrete slab, but like where the rest of the apartment is mostly like, you know, so we're going to have like tile floors here. these are all going to be carpet, because these are your like walk around in socks or bare feet comfortably. This is some sort of like hard surface so that like you can, put stuff on the floor and like clean it off easier later or something. But so like this is like where if you bring up a car piece by piece through the elevators or like by Amazon delivery, this is room enough where you could like build a car here and just like have it, right? Oh, right. So actually, that's the thing about it. This room, I don't know what that room is. There's definitely like, it was sort of my realization because like when I started building this out, I was like, this is a very tiny amount of like house actually, for sort of the square footage you would see in like a skyscraper kind of building. So like this, and I knew that this was like all of this was in one corner. And there was like some stuff over here, but what exactly it is even still sort of unknown to me. And then also there's the rest of like the whole other side of the floor. So this like this could be more like basically. So I think there's also a gag in this, right? Because like one of the gags is when Elcom goes out, he has a bag, and his bag is basically hammer space. Like, oh, what do you... Man, I totally forgot a gag in the last scene that was supposed to play on that. Wow, I totally forgot about it, and it didn't get in there. Anyway, you know what? There were other things to show off there. I think that's fine. But like, it's like, oh... Okay, you remember Snick? You remember all that? And further down the tree, you remember Bag and Sag and Barry, where the gag was just like, oh, he's just got these incredibly saggy bags. He's got these sagging pants because it's full of everything you could ever want. It's just like, oh man, I wish we had some popcorn for the movie. And he's like, I got those in my pocket. And it's like, oh, I wish we had an inflatable raft to get off this island. It's like, I got that in my pocket too. And like, that's the joke. It's just like anything you can think of he happens to have on him at the time. Like, Elcom basically has that with his bag. And it's just like, oh, hey, you want a drink? I got sodas in here. Oh, hey, you need to fix something? I got duct tape. Oh, hey, you need like the homing device? Got that too. Just like this gag. Like, of course I'm prepared for that. It's essentially like his, okay. Bag and Sag and Barry is the same as Camp Batman's utility belt is the same as Elcom and his bag. Okay, this is what I'm getting at. Bag and Sag and utility belt. I should tweet that too. But so like there's this idea of just like, oh, like, there's this gag that like I like to think about it of like on some level, my comic is I want humor in it. It's sort of about gags. It's about things that make you like smirk at least. So I like having gags in it. I've sort of fallen off of that as I'm like, I should make these characters more like characters because I can't think of jokes. But I like having the gags there, and I like having this the gag of Elcom as the sort of illogical conclusion to Light from Death Note about this thing of just like, I've planned 14 steps ahead, and Elcom is just like, yeah, no, I've planned 25 steps ahead, and one of those is I just have this very specific thing in my pocket when I need it. And it's like, oh, that is a ridiculous level. That is the gag itself. But also like in a way that is like thematic for the whole character. Like, it's not just his bag, it's sort of just like him, and the thing is like his any space that he owns and he controls abides by this this ridiculous level of preparedness rule. So his inside of his own bag is one of his spaces, but that means his house is one of his own spaces. So part of the reason why like he has like a skyscraper that he has like this much room in is just like every time it's like, oh, we need this other thing, it's just like, okay, cool, I'm already prepared for that, and you open the next door. So like honestly, if this was like a like the florist from Yakuza, just like a complete like command center with like, you know, observation whatever's and like a command chair, you know, looking like the bridge of the Enterprise room, is just right there. Part of the gag is that a quarter of the skyscraper, just like top to bottom, so this is more than just the one floor, has been converted into like a Gundam hangar. So you know, when the kaiju attacks the city, it's just like, oh no, how are we going to deal with this problem? And he's like, don't worry, I've prepared for this eventuality. And just the side of the building rolls down and you deploy the Gundam, and we just have our Ava scene there. Now I'm just quickly sketching what I think a hangar looks like. And then like there's stuff over here, and like a part of me thinks like, okay, well, if I had to guess, what is something ridiculous that it's just like there's no way you would be prepared for this? And it's just like, oh, I don't know, probably some sort of like R&D lab where it's like, actually over here is where I'm running my, you know, microbiology science experiments, and we're developing science, I don't know. And like over here, this is where I run my tech support, so I just have like a bank of tech support phone lines, and just like, okay, is this what we're doing? Like that's the thing, I don't exactly know what's in these, but it is like pretty much this bottom right corner, this is completely established, this is the most important, this is the most solid. Somewhere to the left of this is a workshop. And actually I think this hallway wouldn't go the entire length, because the workshop probably connects over to the hangar, right? That makes some sense. And I could also believe that this is like perfectly adjoined to that, because the idea of having the workshop that is windows at one end and long and down, almost like a, you know, like a thing from a piece of like strip mall storefront, where it's like, yeah, no, you got the full glass windows over here, and then sort of it connects this way, but also this is just your big room and your lathe and your buzz chop saw, whatever, and you have all of that down here. That makes a lot of sense to me. But that would put it in the middle, not on the end, if there's only one glass side, right? These are the things that I think about a lot for the last 2 decades, on and off. And I have fun with it. Oh, Feral Yomu. I think that is incongruous with Yomu. Although, because like the thing about a Yomu is that she is like preternaturally domesticated. Like she is like a warrior, but she's a gardener. That's a very sort of domestic. She's not quite a maid. She's very, from what I've seen of her, she's very like calm and whatever. It's sort of like Shadow Yomu in that sense. It's just like Feral Yomu is who Yomu fights when she goes to the water temple, I guess, is what I'm thinking about it. The most unkempt hair. Straight mohawk. I don't like it. Because you want to talk about like Bancho Yomu wearing like the leather jacket and the Converse with a spiked baseball bat. I feel like that's not feral because that's like that's like bully AU Yomu, and I'm strong into that, but that isn't feral in a way that's like opposite Yomu. Like there's still a lot of like consideration there, and there's still like a very like there's choices in the depiction there. Feral Yomu is like Feral Yomu is a Yomu who you know when like a cat sticks her head in the bag and then they realize that they're too small for it, but then when they go to back up, the bag is just stuck on their head? To me, that's feral Yomu. Just like so unconsidered and like ungraceful to just like, uh-oh, oh no, uh-oh, uh-oh, and then scampers off behind a dumpster. A lot of scampering from a feral Yomu. What am I going on about? Okay, let's get back to drawing. Let's get back to drawing so that I can eventually stop drawing. Just sitting here thinking about how what is the rate of Toho Gundam Head crossovers? Is it high? Are those nearly concentric circles? Is that the secret truth you might not think about? All right. So Elcom's fridge would have a very modern feel. So instead of being the classic style of like handles vertical sticking out on the side, I think it would have almost a mini fridge style where it was the like top and bottom handles that have the inset that you reach into to grab. That's my thought on how his fridge would work. A Gundam head, you know, like a dead head. But Gundam. Wi-Fi password is all one word, spaces in between. Actually, 0 instead of an O, all one word, is a pretty strong password. It's really long. All one word, no caps. I will. The thing would be there, so this would be part of a handle, and I'll do this, and we'll have sort of like the bucket part of the sink, and that's good enough. Oh no, I forgot this whole bit. I'm a little upset's not the right word. But you know how I was saying that like I would love to just like disappear into a game today? Well, I thought playing some more Halo might be the solution, but the weekly challenges don't reset for another like 10 hours. Even though yesterday it said 1 day, but I guess it meant like actually like 2 days, and we just don't know how to count. They're Microsoft minutes. Remember that joke? Hey, y'all remember Microsoft minutes? But like that game is weird because like yeah, just playing a match, pretty fun. Playing a match and progressing on stuff, really fun. Playing a match and knowing that you could be progressing on stuff but aren't, I don't know, kind of sucks some of the fun out of it for me. Maybe I'm broken, but that's just how it be. Here's my secret cap. I'm fully willing to consider that I might just be broken. Some would call that depression. How do I get, like, some sort of royalty-free Let's Play of Kirby 64 that I could put on in the background as our background music while I work? Like, I don't necessarily need to feel the need to watch that directly right now, but just like having it on, being able to glance at it now and then, that feels, that would be cozy, you know? It's coming together. This one I have to do the background on because the whole point is like seeing him standing already outside the threshold of the doorway. I watched The Matrix last night, and that movie really slaps. And I think like it is already like a standout accomplishment just in terms of like using the medium of film well and just like visual storytelling and framing and all of that kind of stuff. But also like I think it is incredible that they have created something that has like that has so many readings to it, like you know, like sort of the clarity now which we look back and go like, oh yeah, no, this is a story of like trans awakenings, right? But like it also totally works as other just like anything about like, oh, this is a story about like body and about like ideas of like, you know, any story about like, actually this is like you are a slave to this thing as long as you know, buy into it and believe that it's real. And so you say banging soundtrack, but it does have Dragula on it, so you're right. But like just as like, you know, the Matrix as a sort of a stand-in for anything like a sort of like a meaning and explanation for the things that you don't understand in your own life. It's just like you've always felt like something was different or missing, and you've always been looking for it. And what is it? Oh, it's the Matrix. The Matrix is like a stand-in for whatever your like unanswered longings are. Like there was definitely like, you know, intended ones when written, but like it really works for like a lot of other like things of that vein. Like, you know, the people who read it as like, yeah, don't just be your job. It's like, yeah, okay. Talking about it in terms of like the death of the ego when, you know, talking to the oracle, and is like, maybe in your next life, and like sort of foreshadowing that, like, yeah, no, you're gonna get gat by the end of this movie, but that's also not where your story ends. That is just where you're actually going to awaken, because that's where your next life begins. Also, the oracle is great. Like, listen, the movie gets away with a lot because it's just like, what if we put all of our main characters in leather? That'll make people like them. And they're right. But check this out. In retrospect, Morpheus is a fucking pretentious as shit, head up his own ass, like almost Milady level, like not brag. Like, I feel like Morpheus would be into crypto. He's almost on that level, the way he's like, here's this thing that I really believe in, and my belief in it is what gives it power. And I'm like, I mean, you do believe very hard in it, but that doesn't make you actually right. And then things are gonna work out for you because of that. Okay, interesting. Don't like that moral. So Morpheus does kind of suck. Like, the part where Cypher's like, Morpheus lied to us and it sucks out here. It's just like, I don't think he lied to you, but you are right that it sucks out here. You did buy into his sales pitch, and now you have like buyer's remorse. So we can say that happened, absolutely. Neo as like, Keanu Reeves does a lot of good body acting. Like it's actually really incredible, because like the way that you look at it is like, he's incredibly good. I also listened to the Waypoint Plus podcast about The Matrix, so I have heard a discussion about The Matrix recently, so of course I'm aching to join in a discussion about The Matrix, so welcome to the rest of this stream. But like, Keanu Reeves as like a subtle actor, when it's all about, you know, his face and what he does with his body and his energy throughout scenes, is like, he's incredible. Like, I think like part of what works so well is like, you know, starting that movie as Mr. Anderson, where you have like a job at this, you know, prestigious company that really isn't fulfilling, and you feel like confused by the nature of your life because you have this unresolved longing in that runs throughout your whole life until you have this just like, I feel like I'm sleepy and dreaming because nothing feels real yet. Like, that is a great role for him, because like, he does have that sort of like doofy surfer guy vibe that people might have known him for at the time. This is the first thing I knew him from, so I can't really say about anything before it, but like, this idea of just like, oh yeah, no, like you play well a guy who feels like maybe he's not quick on the uptake and doesn't quite know what's going on with his life, and B, absolutely does not fit in a corporate setting. Like, the way that he so mismatches his the setting that his character opens in is like, it's a perfect reason to cast him, because he so mismatches that, and I love it. But then by the end, like, he absolutely, like, he goes from being like sort of like maybe quiet because he's confused and out of place, to being quiet, like that movie ends with him being sort of like quiet because he's calm and collected and suddenly in control. And like, it is a whole different kind of calm, like, but like it is, and that's the thing, like, it's not necessarily conveyed in like his voice or his expressiveness, you know, like just on his face, but like, because like again, like the beginning of the movie when he's in the office and like panicking because the agents are there, he looks like, you know, he is ragdolling himself in panic, and it's just like, oh my god, and like flopping around and like scrambling. And then at the end of the movie, when he does that kick where he leaves his leg in the air and just slides it around, and it's just like, oh, this floppy ragdoll boy now has this like complete control over his body in like a way that completely contrasts his earlier performance. Like say what you will about maybe his like what you want to call his ability to act, but he conveys character development in his physicality in a way that is pretty damn fantastic. And like it is great to watch in follow-ups, you know, repeated watchings. Or the thing that I caught when you know, in the Morpheus is fighting Neo scene, which when Mouse comes in and says Morpheus is fighting Neo, and Switch literally jumps over the table to get out to come watch it, just like yo, everyone is actually doing some pretty fantastic like physical expression acting in that movie. But also like B in that fight scene, like I don't know how much you need to know, but like recognizing the way that both characters are like cycling through different fighting styles that might be known from like, you know, other like Hong Kong action films. And like there's one moment where Reeves does the Bruce Lee thing. He goes like fingers out and then brushes his nose with his thumb, and like it's this incredible thing where like I never really caught it before because I was also never like a really big Bruce Lee like follower. I guess I never really gotten that much exposure, but like going back now, having like actually gone in and be like, people like Bruce Lee, I should check this out, and like realizing that like, oh, he is like capturing both like the energy of a Bruce Lee, like there's some like high action or like high energy pent up but fluid motion in that kind of motion in that move that Bruce Lee does that he captures. But it's also a little bit in like he's pulling it off and getting into it in a way that is like a kid playing with a new toy, because that's literally what he's doing in that scene is, you know, the knowledge of karate and all these fighting styles is his new toy, and he's you know, playing with them for real for the first time, and he's just like, oh hell yeah, I'm gonna do all of this shit. So there's this thing, it's like he's getting into being Bruce Lee, and at the same time he is like just having fun playing with his new Bruce Lee toys. And it's I swear you can read that in the way he moves and the way he expresses, and it is like in retrospect and just like, you know, like sort of considering acting as a craft and what it takes to act through your physicality and what a like skill that is, like holy shit, it's genius, it's amazing, I freaking love it. Let me tell you what. Matrix slaps. That's the... There's some of it that I don't necessarily know if it holds up. Again, the sort of read that I got from Waypoint, really, of like you know, a lot of like the action stuff is, well, some of the weird like time lapse photo rigging that they basically invented for this movie, while that stuff was kind of new, all of the wire work stuff wasn't new. That was stuff being seen in like Hong Kong action already, and it was just like new to be seen in like a Western film, and like, yeah, okay, I totally believe that. And like like knowing that history, it's like, okay, you're kind of just doing that. You're not really inventing anything there. It's still cool, but it's not necessarily as mind blowing as it once was to me. Um, it's still cool as shit. Let's yeah, I don't want to underplay that. It's still cool as shit. Um, but but yeah, there is this sense of just like, okay, well, it's not as mind blowing as it once was, or once considered it to be. But that's fine. Not everything has to blow your mind forever and always. Um, uh, it's gonna be over there, kind of somewhere. I was just saying. The effects are still really good. The choreography is still really good, but like really in retrospect, the things that are still mind blowing is a lot of these more subtler things. It's the way it has like so many like shockingly valid readings. The subtle performances of characters, like and like that's the thing, like even even if I was shit talking Morpheus for a second there, like the fact that you get that read on that character, and that's still like a trait of that character, and like he plays it like that is expressed by the character, and it's like, yeah, man, this guy's a shit, but like it feels like an honest shit, not like a character that's just written to be a shit. Does that make sense? Makes sense to me, at least. I don't know how this cabinet was ever going to happen, so I'm going to have to fix this with some whiteout. I'll just do that for now.
Talk to me.
So there's probably a light switch on this wall. Actually, if I look at a very early comic, I think I show him pressing a light switch on one of these walls, but it might be on this side, now that I think about it. And then I want to see a clock up here, because clocks are important in the kitchen. I don't want to put times on it. No, I thought about this. I thought about what time this would have to be. I don't think I wrote that down anywhere. All right, I'll think about that in a little bit. No, because didn't I show a clock in the last one because we're in the kitchen? Yes, and in the last one, it's about 7:30. So I'm going to call it a little bit past that now. Time has gone forward a couple minutes, is what I'm showing here. Cool, great, little details, love it. I knew I had figured it out for a reason. Let's see here. Yeah, I'll say it again. The Matrix fucking slaps. And the thing that I okay, I don't know if I love or I hate this yet, but in watching the original Matrix, I feel like I can see where the hints of the next movies are like laid down, which feels really weird because really when you watch those next movies, it does have that feeling of like, oh, the first one went well, so you were tasked with making more of this. Okay. And like maybe, there was issues there in the sort of like conception of it. Like, I don't know, let's say if you had to like make a movie of a Full Metal Alchemist when you didn't have like source material to go from and you weren't ready to just do the restart yet, maybe like a weird situation like that, who knows. But the thing is, like, there are things in there that are like, this never really seems to be touched upon except for when it is sort of like called back to in the later movies. And it's like, okay, so was this like was there a meaning in the original that this worked with that I'm missing and this future thing was a callback? Or was it actually like a weird sense of like foreshadowing, which I really want to call a call forward because that would make the phrases symmetrical. But there's already a word for it, so I'll just use that. Oh, am I done? Almost. I still have to do that sync. Oh, right, and I didn't do these because I felt like it would make sense if I did drawers here. I did not put a range in this kitchen. That's maybe my fault. You know what? I'm not gonna give myself any shit for that. Really? Not right now. Oh, also I did this wrong because really the countertop would be thicker. So I would really go more like that. Alright, I can fix that with whiteout. And then for the bottom of these, it would be the doors that overhang. So I think this actually still works out fine. Yeah, that'll be fine. That'll be fine. This makes sense. This makes fine and dandy sense. But yeah, I'm just kind of like upset to maybe have to admit that the other Matrices might not be terrible and also might not be like added on. It's weird. It feels like those go together because like if it's like, well, they're terrible, but we can weigh that all because like, oh well, because they had to add on to a story that maybe was done where it was. But like, I don't know, it feels like there are pieces that are foreshadowed. The one that comes most specifically to mind is when they take Neo, when they capture Neo from the office and they take him into that like that questioning, when they put the bug in his stomach and we're just like, oh right, this movie has like a bunch of body horror in it actually. Am I done with this? Should I put some there? I need to put a little more here. I forgot something. No, I didn't. I did the drawers. I did this. I can do the light up here. We're hearing the same songs over and over again. Go back to this. When he's in that interrogation room, the scene starts with the camera going in on a tube TV in the midst of a grid of tube TVs all showing the same scene, or theoretically the same scene, and then we sort of go into the tube and then into the scene. And I'm pretty sure, and I just watched this last night, but I'm pretty sure that's the only time that because they do the like entering into the tube transition a couple of times. The other time it's really noticeable is when Morpheus is explaining the Matrix to Neo in the sort of construct, and we get the whole copper top thing, the explanation. Like, we go into the TV there to be like, and this is the desert of the real now. But that's not a grid of TVs. The grid of TVs, of tube TVs, all showing depictions of Neo over and over, comes back when we meet the architect, because what he has on the TV is all the different iterations of Neo coming into the thing. Coming into that scene and just being like, no, this has happened before, and every one of those TVs is a different, iteration of that loop. So theoretically, that could be the same thing that we're seeing there, like foreshadowing to it. Like, I don't know if it's a foreshadow or a callback. If it's a foreshadow, I'm like upsettingly impressed, because it means like, oh no, this wasn't just like this weird add-on thing. There was like, this was thought of at the time that the rest was made, in a way that's just like, I guess that's upsetting, because it's just like, really, you thought ahead to this and it still was this weird thing. Oh, that's right. I know exactly what floor Elcom's apartment is on. It has to be on the 50th floor, because his apartment has the apartment number 501, which would be floor 50, apartment 1. Right. And it's the only apartment on the floor, because the other thing is like a hangar and a research lab, and they might not be considered apartments, or they might be different suites. But the house is like his primary use on this floor, so the others would probably be 2 and 3. Or the hangar probably wouldn't even be 3, because it spans multiple floors, so it wouldn't have the 50 prefix. Yes, I have thought about these things a lot. Walking around throughout the day is exhausting because of all of the things that I sort of like notice and tuck away about the systems at play in the world around us. I am tired all the time. I tell you what. What do I need? I could do some sort of background here. I'll do some kind of background here. I'm just going to copy these vertical slats, because it's mostly vertical lines, so that's pretty easy to do. And it'll sort of like frame them a little more in the frame. And it's nothing complex, so I don't have to feel guilty about putting word bubbles all over. But it's also like just iconic enough about where they are in the room that it is actually giving you information about where they are in the room, and you can like set. It is enough visual information that you can now set the placement of this shot within the room. Okay, I need to let that that dry for a minute. Or I can start with places. So normally I do this just on computer paper, but I accidentally grabbed a sheet of cardstock this time, and it makes it feel like more official because the page is way more sturdy, and like there's like less bleed through on the page, even though like I did a lot of these fill-ins using like Sharpie and stuff. So like I'm gonna start doing it on this from now on because man, this feels better. It feels good. It feels strong and professional. My only worry has been I hope the ink absorbs into the paper well and I don't get more smudging during this erasing phase. I don't necessarily expect that, and it is time to find out. That one erased pretty well. Ugh. Good, I'm into the eraser. What time is it? It's... Alright, 7 o'clock. Getting there. I'm so done with today. Today hasn't even been bad. I was not ready to have any day at all, so sort of de facto, it's not been great. The baseline effort of existing was too much for today. Maybe not existing. Being upright, though, certainly. Oh, so you think you're a real fan of economics? Name 16 numbers in your credit card number. I think there's a version of that that's a good gag. I don't know. I feel like the ink isn't smudging, but the pencil isn't necessarily coming off cleanly. But is that a problem with my eraser? Guess what? I've got other erasers. Maybe the eraser I've been using is just bunk. Oh, hey, you know what? Did I not? Okay. So, I want to add a doc. I want to add a custom browser doc. Doc name is reward management. And the URL is, let me go find it. This one. Okay. Oh God, I don't know what that is. Hey, don't look at my browser. I gotta go look for something. Oh, right. I moved it to that. Good. That would be this one. This one. Hey, there we go. So now from in here, I could turn these on. right? Because now I can dock this? Now I can dock this. Okay. Let's see how that works out. Now I just have it right there. Okay. What was I doing? Right, erasing. Let's keep erasing. I think mainly the main eraser I've been using is just bunk. I should get another one like this. I think it's also a matter of age. At some point, erasers age out of working properly because of chemistry. Listen, I'm not a materials engineer. This will be good though. It's lightening the lines enough that I'll be able to level them out in digital. All right, I still got to do the digital steps. I'm so tired. I have laundry to go fold. Can I use that as an excuse? Can't work on my comic today. I have chores to go do. It's one of those. I want to have the comic done. I don't want to work on it. It's fine. It's fine. I'm not on fire. Things could be worse. It's fine. Things could be better? Yeah, we're working on it. All things considered. Stress on my arm from scrubbing with this eraser. Higher than you might think. Whoa. Aquarium Treasure Chest does sound like the name of a Mario 64 level. Right, I started playing that and I got up to that level where this spooky thing comes out of the pirate ship at you and I was like, no, too spooky, and I basically stopped playing there. Listen, I put up with a lot of nonsense. I played many 3D games on the Dreamcast, which only had the one controller, and was like, let's put camera controls on the triggers. But I cannot deal with the camera control in Mario 64 that just does a lot of whatever it wants. Sometimes it's smart and it's just like, if you're dealing with this part of this level, you want to be side on at this angle, and that way it'll... That's why I like that era of PS1 games that were like 2.5D or whatever you want to call it. That's why I like sprites on 3D worlds, because it's just like, actually you are confined to this 2D plane, so physics as you know them in relation to, you know, traditional platformers is still going to abide by that. You're not going to like miss a jump because your depth was off. You will always be, you know, as long as you're like X and Y land right, and the camera will be set up to give you a good view of that. You never have to worry about your Z depth being off, you know. But this feels like a really smart way to solve that problem of like, I mean, of just like 3D platforming of like, we have a 2D screen to be showing this like information on, which is, you know, your TV or whatever. And it's just like, well, what do we do about that third dimension? And like, actually, the answer is kind of like, well, just kind of abstract it out, kind of just fake it, kind of imply it without. Which is like, you're still navigating in 3D, but like, it sort of creates like a. It creates a non-Euclidean 2D geometry, even though it makes sense because it's 3D. Euclidean imply 3D? All right. Also pretty happy about that, because since this paper is thicker, I did not actually run into the problem of the paper crinkling because I was pushing down with the eraser too hard and the friction just picked the paper up and crumpled it. Might need to switch to a harder pencil lead, but honestly, all things considered, the ink didn't really scrub off. Most of the pencil did come off. Not a lot of just smudging. At least, you know, not worse than usual, I think. I think that a fresher eraser might not improve, you know? There you go. That looks like a comic page. No, I need to use some correcting fluid. What do I need to correct? Okay. These eyes, I put the shine in, which is wrong. On him, his face, her. The cabinet's over here, the cabinet's over here. We'll need to recorrect those a little bit. This overshoot right here. And this cabinet. Well, I'm gonna go with the maybe more awkward fix, but it's also the easier fix. And you know what? I'm tired and looking for easy right now. Let that dry for a second. How y'all doing? We hanging in there? We still good? I think I'm good. I think I'm okay. Hanging in there. These away. these I can actually put up in here. I cannot. All right, well, you'll live there. Uh-oh, knock that down. Don't know what that was. I have so much eraser dust on my lap now. Oh my gosh. What am I going to do when this comic is done? What am I going to do to relax? I wonder. Could play an RPG. Speaking of like 2D on 3D, I could try playing that Octopath Traveler. I got that queued up, ready to try out. Is it a Sea of Thieves night? Should we go be pirates? Do I want to be pirates? Not really. So I was thinking earlier about all of those single panel comics I did. You know what? He needs a nose here. Something about that face is messed up. It's fine. Where did I start? Oh, his sparkle eyes. Probably gonna have to also fix this in digital, but I can start here. That looks okay. Put it right here. I still never drew the sink. What the heck? I just didn't draw the sink. What the heck? I just leave this like this? Is that the secret? Sort of fill that back in. No, it needs like a little bit, but so little that I can kind of just bake it like this. And you know what? That's good enough. That's a little weird, but it's good enough. That's not what people are really going to be looking at. I mean, that's the worry, right? Is that you get something so off that it draws the attention and it becomes what people are looking at, even if it's not like the point of the shot or whatever. I feel like I've done here, but you know what? It's fine. It's fine. I want to move on. It's fine. Man, I feel like I'm falling asleep waiting for this to dry. Wow. I guess that's where I'm at. Oh, but we're not done yet. I gotta do the digital stuff. All right. I'm gonna call this dry. Let's get to the digital stuff. First, scanning. Is my scanner even plugged in? Uh-oh. Oh, right. I like reinstalled Windows. I bet I have to reinstall it. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Hmm. Well, that's there, but it doesn't seem like the right driver. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Properties. Driver details. Okay. See if it added it. Yes. Good. That probably means that I lost all of my, like, preset settings. That's okay, they weren't very good. Full plate, color, full, don't unsharp, don't descreen, don't gain. 300 DPI and scan. And then we'll fix it afterwards. It even needs to be fixed. Maybe it'll be fine, who knows? Adjusting lamp. Please keep the document cover closed. Whoa, it's actually scanning. Man, this microphone picks up like plates clinking upstairs. Hey, there we go. That looks like a page. Good. That does look pretty good already, actually. So I was worried about like scraps up here. See, we still have this like dust that I think is on the plate. Actually, I think it's under the plate, so at some point I might be opening this scanner up to clean some glass, and I didn't draw the sink. Hi, I'm losing it. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh boy. Oh boy. My gold. It's also hard to tell what is dust on the page and what's dust on my screen. I need to clean everything. Let's see here, I can look like over here, because then what we'll look for is we go down to the bottom and we say, yeah, that's about where I want the black point. Then we look at the top and we say, oh, actually there's, you can see like some dust over here, so we just want that grit to disappear. And we'll bring this back to the middle, and that evens everything out, and that'll be good. Well, that's really good, actually. I'm gonna crop it to the page. So we can see over here where it stops being on the plate. Oops. I want it to be over here. I want it to be over here. Right? That looks okay. feel like her hair is a little weird because it has this like bang in the front, but it doesn't break the silhouette. So I don't know. Like, I don't know if I should play that up more until it does. It looks okay here. Like here it does. That makes sense. I don't know. I don't even know if I need that or if I could just like if I just give this the one vertical and the rest are like jaggies. I'm just doing it with my hands now, even though the camera is covered. So what I do here? Okay, desaturate it. We did the levels. We did that. I'm gonna save this. I'm gonna save this as. Where do I keep the rest of my Aloof comics? Here, Aloof. This is episode. It's episode 91. This is the Raw. Okay. Then I'm going to start the process here. That's right. Feels like it's been a while since I did this, but it was only a month. I mean, a month is kind of a while, right? This was November. This month had Extra Life in it. This month was busy for lots of reasons, let's say. You know, happens. It's fine. So now this is where it gets tricky, because when I originally started doing this comic and I said, "Oh, I want black gutters instead of white gutters because it'll be dark themed and that'll look edgier," and like, yeah, all right. But now I've gotten into this trend of doing these sort of edge bleed panels, and they don't work super well with this idea of a edge bleed panel. Oh, I did that the wrong way. Oh, okay, this will be easier actually than the nonsense I just did. I'm gonna go here. Here. Because currently I am selecting the panels that will be clear, but only because then I come around later and I flip the selection and then I fill. See, so it's not the worst thing. You still get this layering effect, and that's pretty good. Do feel like I want a bit like thicker layering here. Gotta lay it on thick. You know what I'm saying? How does that look? Yeah, it looks... You know what? I'm actually going to do it the other way. I'm going to be rid of this break. And then I'm actually going to thicken this one up so that it's a little asymmetric. I'm going to like thicken it up that way. get it out of the normal panels. Oop. So that way it's a little... Yes, the answer is like messier. Being that thick, they don't look like background lines anymore. This being here, I think looks a little better. I think that works. I think that works fine. I'm trying to like... So the reason why I bring this up is because I'm still in the midst of figuring out how I like this as a how I want to do this, since now I need to like break in and have this underlying, like, because a part of it is like I don't like having these lined like ink lines of the panels, because I don't necessarily like my line work that much actually. The idea is like, oh, just replace it. Like, those are basically placeholders that I replace with the solid black digital frame. And it's like, yeah, okay, that's better. But like, yeah, it's fine. I'm gonna save this, and this will be the PSD for 91 with layers and everything. And now we leave this. Hello, that's my hand. And it's time to bust out my main. Why didn't my camera turn? Hello. Because I don't have it mounted down properly. You know what? Fix that later. If ever. Bark, 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 bark. Alright. Plugs in. Gotta wait for that driver to wake up. Hopefully not kill the rest of my everything. And yeah, there we go. Now we come over here. What is with the triple stars and all the Pretzel Rock announces? Can I change that? Yeah, yeah. Oh, change my audio output device. Oh, interesting. Filters, instrumental, delay, media keys. Interesting. Well, interesting. Hey, now Krita comes up. And there we go. Don't look at what I was doing earlier. Yep. And boom. The one we were just looking at. There we go. Now, what was my color from last page? That would be 90? That would be 90. Let me just grab this color. And new layer. And this color. And set it to multiply. I should keep this up so I keep looking at my decisions, right? So like, all right, decisions. Decisions like outside in the hallway is, that's the wrong brush. Decisions like outside in the hallway has this Garfield coloring going on, right? But then also so does his shirt. And the stripes. My brush is way too big. My brush is too big. What? No. We left that in the past for a good reason, damn it. The Mummy's curse, but it's not the Mummy, it's E-Bomb's world or something. Who had disturbed the crypt of E-bombs? Oh, Tiger Bomb. Oh, Tiger Bomb. Dun, 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 dun. See, now it's just a coloring book. I've made a coloring book for myself, is what I've done. I gotta admit, this soundtrack now is quite chill. Let me see this for a second. Let me just throw this over here where I'll see it. And by see it, I mean I will absolutely miss it. My tongue is sticking out again. Anytime I need to do something like accurate, my tongue sticks out. I feel like that makes sense. I feel like when you see like the eccentric engineer in some sort of goofy movie, when they're soldering the two wires together, it's like, I need to cut just the right wire. And then they stick their tongue out. Known trait of engineers. You know what? That doesn't look right. I'm doing the whole background. Now, could I do this with like a lasso tool to fill it in really quickly? Yeah, I could, but where's the meditation in that? I've gotten this far. I'm really close to the end. I'm not necessarily here for like the efficiency rush of it now. Now it's just like, yeah, take it easy. Have fun with it until the end, Time I spend doing it this way is time I'm not giving myself a headache by working on harder things. I wonder if that's a version of like avoidance / escapism. Is that what the kind of behavior it is? It might be. Don't like to recognize that happening. Oh, probably good too, check this out. Self-awareness, extremely strong technique. You would be shocked the kinds of problems you can start solving once you begin to recognize the extremely specific ways that you behave like a goofus. This I colored? I just want to do a quick once over and then I'll go back and compare and make corrections. Because like I'm also looking at this, and in my mind, this kitchen is mainly like a gray, and then all these I think the cabinet fronts are like sort of like a matte black wood, but the sort of like undersides of it are sort of like a cherry. But that being said, I think I'm mainly going to shade under here. Like this is the quote-unquote trouble with the one color shading, which I love, but I still am not super actually great at utilizing. because you're not always just coloring like, oh, if it's the color of this thing is darker than this, then color it in. It's like, no, actually you're not coloring and you're not shading. You're working somewhere in between in order to like generate interesting contrast, right? So the idea of like, okay, shading under here I'm doing shading, here I'm coloring in. On his shirt, I'm coloring in. This is to say like, oh yeah, no, this shirt is like contrastingly different from his undershirt, from his skin tone, from all of that. But it's not necessarily like black or orange. Like I try to do the thing, and it's especially hard, right? Because so when it's on characters, I do the solid black areas. So I do his hair, I'm doing her shoulders. I haven't done his shirt, and I'm not super sure why. Maybe I should have. But like here, he has like he's got like a mid-tone shade for the stripes, so the stripes get colored in, right? And it adds an interesting level of contrast to his shirt. But then, like I was just saying over here, like in my mind, these are all black, and so you think, oh, I would do them all black like how I have her sleeves. But it's like, no, these are part of the background, and having that much all black would create this big contrast zone, which would draw the eyes away from the character. And I don't want to, the characters are what matter, so you don't want to draw the eyes away from that. So, I'm not filling them in. Like sometimes really dark stuff, I'll fill them in with the shade color. Sometimes I will actually just shade it really. So like I think at the very least, very least these table legs, or at least this one, right? Because this is the one sort of inside. The rest of these table legs are, I see, like I might do this because that shows that, again, it's shading this way. But since these are both like the outside legs, the way that you're doing it, that side is the sort of like lit side of the table. If we do only one side instead of the outsides, then I can also shade this one, and then they match. So then you get this feeling of uniformity, right? And that plays into how it is. Did his shirt there, I need to do a shirt here. But yeah, so it's this weird thing where like you're actually doing this very inconsistent thing about whether you are denoting like the base color of something or whether you are denoting the shading of something. And it's like it's a single tone, right? It is a single tool, is this single mechanic of expression, but you're using it for multiple you're using it for different purposes. And usually I'm super against that. Like again, listen to me on any Doom stream and I'll talk to you about like and I'll talk to you about like, oh, you want a consistent visual language to be able to express things and to like generate a visual vocabulary that then you can utilize, and if you feel like it, like abuse and use to alternate effects. Not abuse, subvert, that's a better word. And it's just like, no, I'm doing something very opposite to that advice here. But that's again we are to a different goal here, right? Like, Actually, I think I like putting that to shade the back of his hat, right? So even on him, it's like, okay, the base color of his shirt is being used to express, but it's also being used to express the back rim of his hat here, and it's just like that's two completely different things that we're using the same tool to express. Um, my brain has a lot of trouble doing that, simply put. Um, I'm trying to get better at it. But like what we're art is different than level design. Like maybe, in some ways level design is an art and a lot of the like lessons transfer, sure, but like in level design we need to communicate certain things about function, about interactability. We need to express expectations that they can have of different pieces to, let them make an informed decision about using them. Games are about interesting decisions, and decisions have to be informed in order to not be random or feel like random or whatever. Um, but that's not what we're doing here. What we're doing here is we are kind of looking for like we're looking for like readability. Like we're looking to express things through contrast and to highlight and to draw the eye and to just our goals are different. So the way that we use these tools is going to be different. We're going to create contrast to draw the eye and to express, focus and emphasis, not necessarily this idea of expectation. Like that's the thing, lighting a character a different way, you don't have to worry about like, oh, is this character going to be different? It's like, no, we're telling you that in this case the character should be considered differently. That's why it's lit differently. Like it's in a lot of ways it is that, but in a lot of ways it's like we're allowed to bend those rules because it's a different function. It's a different reasoning. It's a different goal that we're aiming for, I feel like I'm not explaining it very well, but I hope something's getting across. Enough. This sort of matches that plane, so let's do this. This is the glass front of the microwave door, so I want to express the like so darkness inside the microwave was reflection of the glass front, I do the top of that? I mean, because it is inside, yeah, and it is under the cabinet, so I think it sort of makes sense to say, like, no, this is part of the depth plane. Let's do it like that. Fill in this gap, so that way you realize that it's sort of like a setback gap. Fill this in. Like, this magnet, if we were doing a close-up on this magnet, I would fill it in solid black, but because it's part of the background and I don't want to draw that much of the eye, there you go. Here, this piece. Okay, how do I feel about that? That makes sense. This makes sense. That's enough. You know what? That's enough. This one's still... what I do in the last one? Did you kind of see it? No, most of this kitchen is just... See, like I did the doorknob and the hinges to sort of make them pop out, show that they are a different material to the door. Alright, different materials. Make things pop out a little bit. Right, so you know what? I like this dish rag over here. Make that pop a little. It's quote unquote sink. Quote unquote sink. Is this where I cheat? I think this is where I cheat. Okay. Let me not worry about that for a second. I want to take this. Let's just put it on a new layer. Then I want to take this layer. And I want to patch over it. Okay. Make this layer back up. Put it on multiply. Now I can really adjust it. Let me bring it down. Yeah, I think that looks okay. Now, I want to add to this. I need like a... See, I got... What do I got? That's like my fur coat trim brush. I don't use that often, but yeah, no, you kind of just go like this. And it's like, oh yeah, that's a tribble. You really want to make it a tribble? You do make it white and then layer style, and you give it a stroke. Full, small. And you're like, oh yeah, it looks like a fuzzy thing, kind of. Yeah, we're not doing that. Brush freezers. See, I wish I could just like, could I? What do we got here? No. Text. Let's just look at all brushes. Oh, those are so tiny. I want to make those look bigger. Icon size. Bigger. Okay. See, we got like this one. Is that close enough to... Yeah, maybe. Actually, that's not bad even for like manual. It's pretty good actually. Alright, I'll use this. Weird, that's a pencil brush that I'm using to mimic. Here, this is also how we can tell. If I use this to fix this. Refix my fix, you know? And that'll work fine. Okay. Now then, draw a sink Tuesdays. Things about sink. Sidelines will be basically exactly horizontal. Nah, even if not exactly horizontal, they'll match this. How about that? I think it would go about here. I don't think any of it's gonna look right. I'll put it the other one here? Right. Okay. Also, I feel like I wouldn't actually do it like that because I'd be trying to do this. Like, this is what I did in the first place, right? So I gave some space around this because this played enough. Except the way that I shorten them isn't by cutting, it's by drawing short lines. So I do this to make it play. It'll play after a fashion. And then sync. How do you draw sync? It's like curves. Then curves. Right? And just like, it's like kind of a curve there, but also it kind of just like goes down. Kind of basiny. See, now like if I duplicate that and crush it down, I think that looks all right. Do I have like a harder pencil version? Kind of. This one? Nope. This one. Ooh, I do like the look of that though. It doesn't really match the doesn't really match, but it looks fine. Here's the thing, it looks fine. Some days you don't need it to be great, you just need it to look fine. Today, one of those days as far as I'm concerned. Call that good. All right, so save that. Let's go back to my brushes. Oh. This? Nope. This one. Yes. Yes. Okay, and I want this one back. And no, not. I need that patch. This. Here we go. Okay. And I can bring this in here. Perfect. We just round this back out. If I just did the whole sync, would that be too much? That might be too much, but I think this is fine. Did I do the clock? I did not do the clock. Okay. Do this. Do I want to do anything behind? No, because I didn't really do any lines. It's going to be mostly bubbles. I feel like I do want to do something here. Just behind her a little bit. Like this much. Keep giving her the Garfield backgrounds. Just a little bit. Just something that looks like a background. I could give him one here. See, I did this a little bit out there. Could fill in underneath that for like the shading feeling. I don't think so. I could fill in back here, but again, I didn't really do anything back there. I want to fill in this bit of the sink. It's like a weird bit of shading to do, but sort of planarly it makes sense. Except it doesn't. I also went underneath. Would that be better or worse? Am I just making it all worse? I think so. Last thing to try. If I take that out and put this in, how does that look? Put this in? That doesn't look good. That I think I could deal with. So let's clean it up. This will be up top so it'll stick out. Sort of get this roundness on the bottom of the sink that you would expect. I can live with that. I can live with that. I'm saying I can live with that to convince myself of it, is what I'm doing. Okay. Ooh, did I do the peephole in orange? I did not. Good. So I think I'm gonna save here. How much more you don't see any of that in the kitchen, so. I've been sitting at this computer for too long. I need to stretch out. That. I feel like that would go back to the wall and you would see it more. Like you might catch some of it like right. See that thing? I think you would catch some of it right here. But then when you do the thing where you clear it away from her, you don't see it anymore. I think I might just be done. I think it might just be bubble time. Okay, so now with that done, we're gonna done with this is saved. Done with that. We're done with this. Hello, welcome back. And now I don't need this anymore. But it is time to go back here. Well, that's a weird thing to happen, but okay. That's a weird way to look, but okay. Look at this. Hey, look at this. Good. Now we're here. We have our colors. I have just now decided. What is this? This. Yeah, that's that. These three I'm gonna put into a group just called Sink. I want to take this thing that I was doing and I'll do it again over here where I take this and then I chop this. Again, sort of just to match the last one, even though I didn't necessarily lay it out that well. Yeah, it seems to fit it now. I'm gonna try this. I'm gonna stick a little one right here. All right. Words. Words. Okay, so give me last one. What do we need? We need ding dong. That's gonna kind of live down here. We need, oof, rolled everything. We need this, which is gonna live. Oh, I saw it for a second. Nope, that one lives down here. This one. I want it to live like up here. Oh, come on, where did you go? Oh, right, not you. You. You didn't go. Okay, is that the issue? Where are you? Where are you? You're nowhere. You're nowhere. There it is. I'm gonna go like that. Oh, I have no idea what to call this one. Select all, move centered. It doesn't look great centered, actually. Okay. Then canvas size, we do need to grow this a little bit, like 35. That's way too much, but oh wait, this. Right, so now we look at that and we say, hey, what's a good that? And then I want to give that up there and put this here. You know what? Let's trim a little more of that. There we go. Oh, just really upset at having to crop something that big. Good, it's looking good. This is gonna be, I need one. Salutations. I don't know if that name will stick, but let's put it there for now. Having to roll back through all my titles and check if I've used a title before or not is a threat? That's not the word. This. Come on, set, hide. This one? This one? Alright, here are our bubbles. We need bubbles. And then they generally live below bubbles. Help me out here. Okay. And then above bubbles we need, give me, how about this one? Okay. Now we have everything we need from here. Save this, now it's got all the stuff in it. And let's work on placement. So bubbles are actually the last thing. First I place all my words, which means I gotta open up the text document with the script in it. This one. bell? I feel like this is the first time they've actually like introduced themselves in the story. Like we came in a little in medias res where it's just like, yeah, no, they already know each other. We're not going to get introductions. She already said her name, right? That should fit. Okay, there. Probably break this way, although that'll be a little weird, but no, if I do it like that, that'll be fine. I'll fit it. Maybe this will be flat to fit better. As soon as I have to do anything with words, my brain just shuts off for anything else, and it's like, nope, gotta figure this out now. Ooh. Also just bigger. Bigger. Salami. Now that I have all the words, we bring up the bubbles and we say, hey, look at those bubbles. Got new bubbles over here. And I'll save it there again before we break anything new. And then we just start drawing bubbles. You know? What you know about bubbles? And say, yep. Whoops. Say, yep. See, to me, this is just kind of funny because it's like, it's one of the few things that he's not prepared for is just like, I'm not really sure what to call them, because in his mind he's like taking the time to look for something accurate, because it's just like, oh, these are my, like, he's thinking like, well, Zach is kind of my informant and Ryan is kind of my student, but that's like, you can't just come out and say those things. It's like that's an explanation that requires more, and this isn't like a big you need to know kind of introduction. It's just like, what's the easy explanation? And it's like, oh right, I need to like talk to humans today. Um, Sometimes you have a day where you're not prepared to interact with humans. I have those days a lot. Okay, and here, I'm just gonna have these tails. And then, let's see here. How much sense does it make to break them apart using the word bubble? I think that makes sense. Let's go more centralized. Get a more even bubble. That's the problem though, because it's like, this is actually what you want. You want a bubble that's thin in the middle. That's what you want. There you go. See, but now normally I would like take this and follow it around and completely curve it. But that puts it up here, and that's weird. But also down here is weird. This whole face just looks. Hey, can I, real quick? Can I take like his whole deal and like unsquish it a little? It's a tiny bit better, not better enough to deal with. I mean, I could just... do this weird back and forth wrap. There's nothing actually wrong with that. Go back to bubble layer. It's a little weird, but it's fine. Okay. See, and like, this is exactly the thing, this is what, sort of like in terms of like, oh, even if it's a friendship, it's a functional relationship, and like, you get things, like you support each other with your own talents, and like, this is something that Elcom gets from Zach. Like, he's a very like schmoozy, socializing first kind of personality. So the fact that he's able to just like jump in and fix this weird awkwardness of, how do I introduce him? It's just like, no, I got it. We're your friends. Just say friend. And it's like, oh yeah, that's good. It's here. And Ryan is just excited to meet new people. Like I was definitely saying that in terms of like Amy and Elcom's relationship, that she has like a level of enthusiasm for things that eludes him, while matching on the intelligence, but like Ryan is the other side, where it's just like, it's like no, not necessarily a match, but wow, just so enthusiastic. Like really at that rate works as a foil, So now I'm gonna take these bubbles, and I'm gonna move these bubbles someplace a little more comfortable, right? So look at this. Like if we overlap the panel a little more, then it starts to make more sense. Or we bring it in and cover his hair more. Yeah, just a little bit. Just enough so that these bubbles feel, you know, comfy in here. Now that we've done that, I feel okay to finish them off. Alright, I do have to move the words to line them up. Yeah, we know that they fit the bubbles well because we built the bubbles around the words. Then we're just shifting everything to somewhere comfy? I've been saying comfy a lot today. Put this here, here, oops, here. This wraps. This wraps. I think this is gonna work better like that. I don't want to block the hand though, because the hand is a gesture. You know? Oh, one bubble at a time. We're getting there. That's 2 of 6 panels. Last one doesn't even have bubbles, so it's 2 of 5 panels. So it looks like it might overlap right now, so I'm going to move that out of the way a little bit as we go to fill in this other one. Let's go. I hope I'm not interrupting on its own line. We're going to make this a little taller so it doesn't push back into the last one. I'm going to move it over here and go here. We'll bring this down, match the new bubble. Right, gotta be here. And boom. Well, looks like a pretty good bubble. Now we can kind of shuffle these a little bit. Like I don't want to, I think that's enough. What's this one up here? Like my brain says fill in the panel, which is like this. But then it creates this weird, oh, you do kind of go like top down, so it's not that weird. Like I don't want to make it go like this, so I don't really want it overlapping. If I'm going to overlap anywhere, it should be over here. But you know what? Let's do the thing that I said before. Let's make this flat. Or I mean, we could always overlap it and make it one bubble, right? You know what? I think that's fine. Then this whole bubble can. No, that's good, right? Like I don't like that it's also overlapping down here, but like because we've already dealt with it, it sort of goes out of mind and it doesn't feel like a piece of this, right? See, it's just a little to the left of that one, so I think that makes sense. Where is this? Nice to meet you. I hope I'm not. That looks good. Now let's give it a tail and move on. Let's see. The tail up here can sort of fill up this negative space up here that I'm not a fan of. That's fine. That was good. Save. Always save. Oh. I've been going for almost 4 hours now. Wow. It gets done. Takes a while, but it does get done. Nah, no worries. I like them when they're a little fatter on the bottom. Makes them... Got them fat bottom bubbles. No, I mean yes, but no. Yeah. Here's the thing. Yeah. I'll put it right up there. Give it plenty of room. We are able to. This is not a strain on us. That's a better wording. It's a friendlier wording, I think. Listen, if you think I put this much thought into what fictional characters say to each other, let me tell you about the amount of thought I put into what I say to real humans.
Come to me, please.
It's a big bubble. We can... What we're going to do... Move this down. Move over version. And we do need to space... you know what? Give goes down too. Yeah. That's a nice even bubble. It's big, but it's a nice even bubble. Put it over here. Back at 7. Oh, that, jeez, yeah, that takes up so much. You know what? I want this to be 2. He gave us the shorts version. This will go here. We can give you space to work. So actually, what I'll do is I'll do it like this, right? And back on this one, move this up. And now what we have is we have this like upper and lower feeling. Do I like that or is that bad? Oh, he gave us the short. He gave us the short version, so I can put this over here, not block the hand. And yeah, that one's flatter, so I think maybe I'm going with this one. Let's try this. I do hate when this comes down to like trial and error, but you know, sometimes you gotta look at something to realize what will make this at a second iteration better, you know? Sometimes you just gotta see it. What if I did this again? We can give you space to work. see, I do like it more like this. Real quick, I move his mouth a little bit. Yeah, it looks better. Just a little bit, you know. Whoops. He gave us the short version. How about just we got the short version. Kind of irking me. I feel like he could be bigger in the frame as part of the thing. Just higher in the frame? Or his hand could be lower? Am I gonna make that kind of effort right now? I'm gonna try it apparently. I just grab like all of him. Alright, just scoop inside the panel. Just like yeah, it won't feel quite right, but it'll work. Let's just bring that up to match. You know what? I don't necessarily hate it. Bring that down a little bit and over a little bit. Same with this. It's a gross fix, but you know what? It's a fix. But now let's do these bubbles. It's like shorter lines. I think it still carries it. Maybe it's not as like deep, flavorful, you know, expressive of the character, but it's not out of character. And it fits the page better. If I do this, right? Does that fit? Yeah, that's not bad. Let's go a little more separate though. I would love to be able to have it like, oops, overlap both sides of the panel pretty up here. This. I want to move this one down over here, and then I move this one downer over here. We'll leave you in peace to work. That's maybe Okay, but then you see where this overlaps? I'm gonna need you to just a little bit, sort of. That'll do. That's enough. Okay. Also, want to look at it. This was an issue that's still bugging me. There. Good enough. Boy, it's a lot of words. I knew this was going to be word heavy because it was just like, I got to do introductions and goodbyes. I think that's why I wanted to call it salutations, because isn't that cover greetings and goodbyes? I'm not super sure on that. Here. What if I took this and like here, just a little less, just a little less. Oh, it still looks fine. Where does this look right here? Block. See, I feel like down here in the corner. No, he's close. I shouldn't block that. I think right here actually works. This will go. Whoops. In the bubble. He's saying it. He's friendly and looking forward to later. Likes being here. Bop. And that's pretty much it. I just want a sound effect line over here, which actually means duplicate this, select all, delete. Go to the stroke, flip the color. Not that I think anybody would actually like notice this. Maybe, because if I do it like this, right? Then do it in white. No, do it in black. Boom. There. Just slam a little bit. Turns a little. And there. Slam. See, like this is going to be kind of an awkward scene for Elcom coming up, because like he needs to play host now, and he's not actually very good to it. Like what he's pretty good at is like setting up a space for the others to enjoy, but sort of like self-guided for them. Just like, yeah, no, make yourselves at home. I don't know how to do anything other than that, right? Yeah, that's better. I didn't clip his shirt. Good. Save there. I'm gonna call that the PSD is done, which means the next step is take the whole thing, shrink it to 900 wide. And then this is what I save the final PNG as. There you go. And that shrinking hides a ton of sins. Let me tell you what. Yeah, that's gonna do it. That's a page. All right. I'll get to posting that. Saw everything I did here. I gotta. I'll do something with that. I'll figure out what at some point. Yeah, I'm gonna say that's gonna do it. We're done here. Thank you very much for joining me. I'll catch you next time.